Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? Live wire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't wanna miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats, you know that we gotta run it back. Whether on the field or the court, you know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is Live Wire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.
All right, what's good? Welcome to another Live Wire Sports Media update. All right, so since the WNBA expansion draft took place, I did a live, I did a recap video, everything. But I'm going to dive into a little bit more about the Indiana Fever and why was Temi Fagbenle, cut, or why she wasn't protected, so to speak. And the Golden State Valkyries was able to pick her up and everything like that. Well, there's a number of things that's factoring in. One, Temi's contract. She's a restricted free agent, and she was going to command more money from the Fever, where the Fever don't want to pay that more money. They already got a big salary cap with Katie Lou Samuelson, which Lynn Dunn pretty much, messed us up on. We're paying Katie Lou a lot of money for non-production. You know what I'm saying? Katie Lou is a great person. I don't dislike Katie Lou. I like her. I understand she had a baby. She had to work herself back in shape. And she, she fell out of rotation with Chrissy Science, and that's why Lexi Hall was able to submit herself into the starting lineup at some point. And then the case in point with Temi Fagbenle, she was injured. At the beginning of the season, Temi was, she would have had Delissa Smith's spot if she didn't get injured. And because her defense, she was there. She always had Caitlin's back and everything like that. And I understand that the fans, and I understand y'all are, torn between this. And rightfully so. You should be. But you got to look at it as a business standpoint. You can't keep everybody. You can't sign everybody. Some people are going to go. It happens to all our favorite teams. You know what I'm saying? We have to let some people go because sometimes it doesn't fit the structure of what the team is trying to go and do. Yeah, they had talk about defense. But at the same time, you got to score inside that defense too. You got to have defensive people that can score. Temi doesn't provide that. She provides everything else that we look for or we want for this team besides the scoring part. But she's, like I said, I love Temi. I don't have no bad thing about Temi and everything. She definitely had, she came out on X. She, looked forward to the new journey. She talked. Caitlin even came out there and supported her and everything like that. And it's good. Temi's going to still have friendships with the team. When you go through the fire like that, you don't lose out on friendships like that. But there's a greater opportunity for Temi too, because you got to think about it. Yeah, the Valkyries pick her up, but that's not necessarily, because if somebody offers Temi a contract right now, say, for instance, let's say that the Atlanta Dream offered Temi a contract. The Valkyries can match that contract. And I don't think the Valkyries are going to let Temi go because she's valuable to them. You know what I'm saying? Especially what they want to do for that team. For what the Indiana Fever wants to do, I look at it like this. If we didn't have that contract with Katie Lou, I think then we probably would have found a way to keep Temi Fagbenle. That's why I look at it. But since Katie Lou's contract is so big, it hurts. It hurts the team. And then you look at Damaris Doncic, her contract is less than Temi's, and it's less than Katie Lou. So with that being said, Roberta Rodriguez, we already know who she is, but I wish it was Ann Constable that reported this. But she said that Damaris Doncic was protected by the Fever And she said, I also hear that Jordan Hardison was protected by the Seattle Storm. And rightfully so, because the Valkyries did not pick anybody from the Seattle Storm. You know what I'm saying? They didn't pick anybody. And surely they're going to try to make a trade. And we already know that February the 1st is free, well, not February 1st, but February is free agent for the WNBA. But there's not a lot of free agents in the W for the Fever to look towards. There's a few names that's there, but I was watching Mick talk hoops on his channel, and he made a great point about the Fever needed to look overseas, and I agree. They need to look overseas. There's a few people that could fit the mold that they're looking for, because look at the Valkyries, what they did. They pretty much picked a lot of international players on their team, except for Kate Martin, I think Kayla Thornton, but they picked a lot of international players. And I think the Fever, I do believe they have a plan. I think Kelly is one of the best in the business. I'm not going to second guess her. I'm not going to get over, analyzing about why this was a bad mistake. We shouldn't have got it. A lot of people already, bashing the front office already, talking about, well, this is a bad mistake. This is the worst decision they could do. And if you don't understand business when it comes to these teams, now some teams make bad decisions. I'm not going to dispute that. But we got a new front office. We got a new head coach. Why not give them an opportunity to show that? It's just the same thing with one of my teams, the Washington Commanders. I look at the Chicago Bulls, same way, who constantly makes mistakes all the time with their roster. I look what the Washington Commanders doing. Look what my Miami Hurricanes doing. Sometimes you gotta allow the front office to do what they do best, because we not GMs. We just out here analyzing and looking from the outside in, the inside out, however you want to put it. But for me to be around this and seeing this a lot and understand how contracts work, you definitely need to make sure that how you're going to structure your team is going to be. You got to have the cap space to make sure you sign Kelsey Mitchell. You got to have enough cap space to go after another top free agent or make a trade for that top free agent, to be able to sign that person. Some of these players on this team might not be there. They might get cut. They might get waived. They might bring in enough people, sign enough people to the roster, and cut some people. If you look at the roster for the salary cap for the Fever going into what 2025, there's about 4 people salary that's coming up. And you got to think about it. You got Victoria Saxon. Her contract is not up until 2026. So she got another. Dante's contract's up next year. Christy Waller's contract is up next year. Lexi Hall contract is up next year, which I think, because Lexi Hall is a rookie, I think she will get signed to another deal. I think she would. Nalissa Smith contract is up next year. So you want to find a trade partner for Nalissa Smith instead of letting her walk away for nothing. So you want to get something for her. Katie Lou contract is up next year. You guys think about it. That's another big contract. And one thing it is, it's going to be hard to find a buyer for Katie Lou. That's the thing. Because Lynn Dunn stuck this team with that contract. She shouldn't have never signed Katie Lou to that big contract and got the production that you got for a person like that. You know what I'm saying? Her value is $355,000 right now. Erica Wheeler contract is off the books this year. Mitchell, she's a free agent, but she'll probably sign. You know what I'm saying? Resign and everything. And last time Mitchell signed another contract was in 2021. So you got to think about this. Dantas might not be on this team, to be honest with you. If they sign free agents that they want to sign to fit the mold that they want, Dantas might not be on this team. Christy Wallace might not be on this team. They might find a way to sign, trade Katie Lou, but they definitely might find a way to trade Alyssa Smith. Now, there's some people think that Alyssa Smith might go all the way to the season because since Temi Fagbenle is not there, that's an opportunity for Alyssa Smith to show what she got. You know what I'm saying? But if not, they could trade her for a somebody's draft pick in the second round and pick another player that they want. So who knows? We don't know what everything is going on with this team. You know, so we speculating, we commentating, we trying to understand it. Now you look at this right here, and you take a look at that right there. You look at the salary cap for these teams right here. Look at Katie Lou's contract. Her contract is $175,000 right now. Why is she getting paid that much? Damaris Dantas is $97,000. Alyssa Smith is $80,000. She, you know, because she on rookie deal. Same thing with Lexi, Caitlin, and Aaliyah Boston. Grace Berger $72,000. Christy Wallace $70,000. But she will, if she go into this year, she'll make $80,000. You don't need that from Christy Wallace. You know what I'm saying? You could easily find that replacement. So, but if you look at it like this, Temi Fagbenle was making $76,000 with us. Now she's going to make higher than that if we had kept her. So we don't have the money to keep her and try to pay Katie Lou, and then Dantas, her money is going up to $100,000. So you think about this. Do you really think the Fever is going to really keep Damaris Dantas on this roster going into 2025? Even though I love her skill set, I love what she does, and we already said that, hey, she doesn't run the forward well. She, you know, she's a little slow, but she has everything else that we need in spacing, rebounding, inside-out game, passing, screening. She has everything that Temi doesn't have. But are you really going to pay her $100,000 for this team when you got Katie Lou going into this 25 season making $180,000? You know what I'm saying? The Alyssa Smith contract goes up to $90,000. That's another $10,000 more on her, $11,000 more or so. Lexi will jump up to another $11,000 because of her contract, her rookie contract. Same thing with Alyssa Smith. So if you being smart business person, you look at these high contracts and you try to get them off your books, because what it's going to do is going to help you have more money to tack free agency a little bit better. Whether you're getting some people overseas or certain players from the free agency, you know what I'm saying, or how you ever want to tack the draft. There's ways to do that. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, but Katie Lou's contract is going to be the hardest piece for the Fever to try to move, because nobody seemed like, now somebody could trade for her. Somebody can't really trade for her. But guess what? They can waive her too. So they don't even have to take on her contract. And then she's a free agent. You know what I'm saying? And then she end up signing somewhere else for less money, so it won't hurt the salary cap. Now somebody will probably take on that for her. You know what I'm saying? Say like you make a draft with Atlanta Dream. You know what I'm saying? And then they say, okay, well, we need another 3-point shooter. But then she might not work out. And the Dream might say, well, you know what? Hey, we're going to just waive you before the season starts. Then guess what? Guess what? The Atlanta Dream don't have to pay her. And then the Fever don't have to pay her either, because that money comes off the book. That's more money. The more you can accolade money, the more moves you can make in free agency and in the draft. You look at the NFL, a lot of smart business, like I'm going to give you an example. The Washington Commanders have probably, I think they have one of the top 5 salary caps, the high salary cap, because they signed people to 1-year contracts this year. Some of them they might keep. But the thing about it is they are able to tack free agency next year and bring in some more notable names to build a roster the way they want to build a roster. You know what I'm saying? So you don't want to overspend your salary cap. And the Fever don't mind paying Kelsey what she wants. And then if you want to make a trade or find a way to make a trade to get Satu Sabally, then you could pay Satu what she worth, or make an extension to her. And then you still going to have enough money to bring in people for 1-year deals, because when the CBA kicks in 2026, everybody's on a 1-year deal. Then you can sign more players to your roster to build on top of what you have. And then you'll still have money. You'll still have a high salary cap going into the next year, because Aaliyah Boston contract will be up. You would have to re-sign her. Then you got Caitlin's up in 2027. So you want to have that money available to do the things that you want to do to keep your team in structure. So again, I get why the Fever didn't protect Temi Fagbenle, because it's contract and salary cap purposes. I still don't think that the Bears Donta is probably going to be on this team. I don't think Christy Wallace is going to be on this team. I think they going to either waive them to get their money off. If they nail people who they want to pick up to build this roster around, we could look and see almost a completely whole team. I think the only ones that's pretty much just going to stay with this team right now is probably going to be Grace Berger, Victoria Saxon. I think they're going to find a way to move Melissa Smith. I think they're going to find a way to move Katie Lou Samuelson. And I think they're going to probably just waive the Bears Dontas, But I don't think they're going to do all of this until they get the people in. Because you can sign as many people, but guess what? When training camp comes, you have to cut your roster down. So, yeah, we looking at it as, we protect this person or we keeping this person. Not necessarily. Because at the end of the day, you still got to cut your roster down. So whoever's going to make the roster, that's who's going to fit the squad for that team. So that's my take on it. You tell me what you think about everything. Leave likes, comments, subscribe. Continue to hit that notification bell whenever I drop a hardcore video. Until then, guys, Livewire Sports, you know what it is.
Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? Livewire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't want to miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats. You know that we gotta run it back, whether on the field or the court. You know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is Livewire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.